grab your wine glasses and pour that sweet wine, because today, us romance anime connoisseurs are going to see the top 10 most wholesome romance anime moments of all time. Let's go! Number 10, Horimiya's graduation.
俺は君に何かをしてあげられるかな。
早く宮村。
To a lot of people, love brings the color back into their life. Each flower becomes prettier than ever, the sky feels like a vast vacuum that fills your heart with peace, and every autumn leaf feels like a painted work of art. Nope, I didn't write that. This is exactly what Miyamura confesses in this scene. Hori runs ahead in absolute bliss and glee, full of hope, as she pulls Miyamura with her. As he's being pulled in, he realizes how he's always been an avoidant and lifeless person. The pull of Hori in this scene is actually the perfect metaphor for how she pulled him back into a blissful life that Miyamura had been led astray from.
俺は自分にこんなにたくさんの表情があるなんて知らなかったよ。
What makes this scene special is how the two of them have always been polar opposites. Hori has always been social and cheerful, and on the other hand, Miyamura was always dull and introverted. On the surface, they seem like oil and water, but this scene proves how polar opposites can sometimes complement each other. They can work on each other's weaknesses and foster a beautiful bond unlike any other. Number 9, the confession from Maid-sama.
何言ってんだ勝手に。
愛沢、どうしてそんなに赤い顔してるの？
別に赤くなんか。
緊張してない？
してない。
A confession of love can be the hardest thing someone does, especially when it comes from a tsundere. And that is exactly what makes this scene so special. This moment had me smiling the whole time, not realizing that I'd teared up along the way as well. They both end up in a place with the best possible fireworks, and it's pretty clear Misaki's mind has given up on her in the presence of Usui, and Usui, being the sly guy he is, recognizes this instantly.
お前のせいだ。
落ち着いて。
こんなゲームしなきゃこんなこと気づかなかったのに。本当はずっとお前と手つないでたかったんだよ。
Still, despite the hesitation that's taken over Misaki's body, she initially denies that she's blushing or has any feelings. But eventually the facade gives in. As she realizes that Usui is about to leave, she grabs his hand and confesses everything in the most tsundere fashion possible. She confesses that she can't help but love him no matter how much she tries to go against this instinct. I guess love really is blind, huh? Number 8, the hug scene from Nodame Cantabile.
先輩とだったらバイオリンソナタも他にもいろいろ楽しいこといっぱい。
Not all romantic moments have to be serious. Some come with a flavor of humor as well. This scene is the perfect example of that. Chiaki and Noda are talking about their future on the phone, and how after learning more and more about music, they might one day perform on a huge stage together. As Noda is expressing herself and daydreaming about what could be in the near future, unbeknownst to her, Chiaki is chasing after her to catch up. And when he does, he gives her the most heartwarming hug she's possibly ever had in her life.
そういうことは試験に受かってから言え。
千秋先輩。
I can only imagine how great it must have felt. And the piano that starts playing just as he hugs her, that was just chef's kiss. And I can promise you, it's gonna tear you up a bit. And you'll definitely be listening to that piano more often than you'd like to admit after watching this scene. Number 7, Rinko chooses Tako in Ori Monogatari.
誰にも渡したくないと思った。俺を好きになってくれてありがとう。リンコ。
Feeling like the person you love deserves someone else is not something a lover is oblivious to. And that is exactly what Takeo has been suffering from for most of the show. However, his insecurities are wiped clean from his heart for the first time after Rinko confesses her feelings for him in front of Ichinose and Takeo. Ichinose also loved Rinko, and in the end, she chose Takeo over him.
当然だ。だそうだ。リンコを頼んだぞ。
What makes this moment special is how maturely both Ichinose and Takeo were ready to accept rejection if it meant Rinko would be happy. In the end, both Takeo and Ichinose went their separate ways, fully content with Rinko's decision. We also get a cute moment afterward where Takeo holds Rinko's hands and calls her by her first name. That made him blush in the cutest way possible. Number 6, Ko shows weakness and hugs Yoshioka, the Aoharu ride.
となしくてかわいい。私の好きな匂い。こう。
ダメ。
What is the purest form of love? In my opinion, it's when someone can genuinely share everything about themselves with someone else without the fear of being judged. Talking to someone as if they're no different than talking to yourself. Opening up and showing weakness is the ultimate form of therapy that nothing can replace. And that's what Ko experiences in this moment. Yoshioka makes him realize this and embraces him in her arms.
そっか。泣いてる顔見られたくないんだ。最初にギュッてされたのもそういうことか。
The hug felt like it breathed life into a tortured soul. This was the first time Ko had felt anything so blissful. In fact, it was such bliss for him that when Yoshioka tried to move away, he pulled her back in. It could be said that he wanted to hide his tears as he's not used to expressing emotion, but it also showed just how much Yoshioka's embrace meant to him. Number 5, Mei gets multiple kisses by her crush and say I love you.
今のは挨拶代わりのキス。今のは可愛いなって思った人へのキス。
Stalking's pretty weird in the real world, but it can come off as romantic when someone's brave enough to give the person a chance. And that's exactly how this scene starts out. Mei leaves no stone unturned in revealing that she was obviously stalking Kurosawa and was jealous at the thought of him being with another girl. Kurosawa's response? He simply kisses her.
今のは進展したい人へのキス。
That's kind of bold, but it can also be creepy in some contexts. However, in this case, Mei actually has feelings for him, and even though she pushes back a bit after the first kiss, Kurosawa just keeps giving her more, each one followed by a flirty comment. Initially resisting, Mei eventually gives in to the splendor of the moment. To put it in her own words, the kiss tastes better than fried chicken. That line alone makes this scene a worthy candidate to this list. Number 4, the finale of Kami-sama Hajime na Mashita.
紳士の契約をしてもよいか。
紳士の契約なら。
心からだ。
Sometimes the simplest things are the best, and nothing beats a romantic moment like a kiss under the bright moonlight. However, that's not all that makes this moment so special. What makes it different from most is how this love is a bond forged by contract, not just a simple promise. The familiar contract is more than just a formal agreement. It's a deeply symbolic bond, often sealed with words and a kiss.
水木みたいに綺麗だったとか。ないんだ。
綺麗だった。
In that single moment, the familiar, Tomoe, becomes bound to the god Nanami, not just in duty, but in spirit. It's a quiet surrender of will, a promise to serve and protect. I know that's some epic fantasy writing stuff, but the wholesome way this is pretty much portrayed made me include it in this list. Number 3, Ire kisses Kotoko in Rain in Itazura na Kiss.
仕方ないじゃない。リエクは私のこと好きじゃないんだもん。私のことなんて。
This moment is yet just another proof of how sometimes polar opposites can be the perfect pair. Ire had always been the cold, intelligent one throughout his life, and Kotoko has always been the easygoing with a lot of emotional intelligence. However, jealousy stings like a bee, even to the coldest of hearts. When Ire talks about Kotoko accepting the proposal of someone else, even though his facial expression remains the same, he is internally bothered at the thought of Kotoko being with someone else. What does he do next? Not knowing how to put his emotions into dialogue, he simply kisses Kotoko.
俺以外の男を好きなんて言うな。
What makes this romantic moment special is the realization that he's not really cold-hearted. It's just that he's been so perfect his entire life, he's never had to deal with emotions in the form of insecurity or jealousy before. In a way, the kiss made him more in touch with his own emotions as well. And that is definitely what makes this moment so unique. Number 2, Tomoya and Megumi's kiss and Saikano movie.
ごめん。
You know I'm a Saikano guy, and this is my favorite. Not all confessions need to be perfect to be romantic. Sometimes you don't need a whole essay to say how you feel about someone. And this is true for this scene as well. Megumi confesses her love to Tomoya, and this guy doesn't really know what to do, so he just kisses her, only to apologize right after, thinking he'd read the room wrong. Surprisingly for him, Megumi kisses him back, telling him that what he did was fine, giving him a sense of relief and the pleasure of a sweet kiss at the same time.
そうだよな。いきなりこういうの違うよな。空気読めてない。
Just like many other great romance stories, theirs blossomed from a strong friendship that slowly grew into love. So much so, in fact, that she eventually starts going out of her way to help him from time to time, making the confession inevitable. Number 1, Taiga and Ryuji kiss scene in Toradora.
すごく暑かった。ねえ、寒いしもう一度。
Nothing hits like a love story where two characters start off hating each other, and that whole animosity slowly evolves into an ironic friendship, eventually setting the stage for them to become lovers. That's exactly how the story of Taiga and Ryuji plays out, ultimately leading to this perfectly executed scene.
どうだった？
想像通り。ガサガサして干からびて不毛の大地。
Taiga, being intelligent and a tsundere, reads the room between herself and Ryuji perfectly and says that a kiss between them would leave a sour taste since Ryuji's lips are chapped. However, Ryuji sees right through the facade she wears at this point in the series and kisses her anyway. This moment represents how close he's gotten to her and how he can now successfully interpret what she means over what she expresses. Ryuji definitely deserves an award or something in this case because Taiga's a tsundere.